let's open an instance of Operator to create your bass patch from scratch. And I have inserted at 140 BPM a bass pattern, triple bass pattern, classic, with the velocity at 50 for the first note and the two other notes at 100. And you have by default a sub note, which is a sine wave here. You choose your waveform for a Psy-Trance bass. We will use Sawtooth in the Model D, full of harmonics. We will deactivate the 3 oscillators because we just need one, and set the level at -9 dB. You have to create your amp envelope, and so you can click here to see the ADSR curves. So the attack usually I put at 2 milliseconds, the decay at 1 second as a starting point. The release really short, 100 milliseconds maximum. I set the velocity at all the way up. I set the key track at 20%. I set the phase at 50%. And of course I put down the sustain because we don't need any sustain in a bass, Psy-Trance bass. Okay, so maybe it's already a bit longer than I expected. Let's play it in context with the kick first. Without the kick. So we need, as you can hear, we need an envelope filter now. So to create that, you go to this section, you pull down the frequency and the resonance, you select a low pass filter, of course, in the OSR mode, because I love this one in Ableton, in Operator. 24 dB per octave, it's okay. But first, let's design the ADSR with the same kind of settings. Release really short, 100 milliseconds. No sustain, envelope all the way up to create the filter envelope, of course. And that's starting to sound great, okay? Maybe the frequency at 20% here. I will add a bit of shaper, the sine wave, a bit of drive, 1 dB, but not all the way up, wet, just 50%. And the filter drive. Okay, the gain staging is already really near from what I expect. -2 dB and I'm at -3 dB. So it's a bit of headroom to be able to tweak it later. And I think it's already nice. That's my basic setup for the bass patch inside Operator. And of course the final result with the audio process, as you can hear in your Psy-Trance bassline generator template. The final result is with some audio process here. So the final result is that. And with the dry bass patch that we created, it's that. When you are happy with your bass patch, you just have to save it, first of all, of course, with the little icon on here, and to name it. But if you want to go further, like I did in the Psy-Trance bassline generator, you can think about to create an instrument rack, because you will add some audio effect on it. So you select it, Ctrl J on the instrument. This will create an instrument rack, okay? The 8 macros, and you can save it here as soon as you have created this rack. Name it as you wish, of course, and you can now add some audio effect inside your rack, and for the further later use you will add some macros here to be able to control your bass, as you can see in your Psy-Trance bassline generator template. So we will see later how to add some macros inside this rack in function of any parameters that you need from your audio effects. But now I want to show you, to make you listening, the different audio effects I usually put inside my Psy-Trance bass patches. So maybe the best way is to deactivate everything and to progressively add each audio effect in the first instance of listening, to make you definitely realizing the audio process of this bass patch. Multiband saturation, digital EQ, analog EQ, multiband compression, analog EQ, invert phase, and gator LFO tool. Okay, so what's happened there? A multiband saturation, a digital EQ, an analog EQ, a multiband compression, an analog EQ, an utility plugin to invert the phase if needed, and an LFO tool to gate the triple bass pattern. By clicking here you can see the oscilloscope, to fade out and avoid to overlap with your kick, and a fade in as well. And this will allow you to not clipping at all. With perfect gain staging, you're done. That's the final result before mastering process, of course.